So this is on the K question, it's also known as discriminant. And this is January 2011. And it says, given that 2x squared plus 3k minus 1x plus 3k squared minus 1 equals 0 has two distinct real roots, show that 5k squared plus 2k minus 3 is less than 0. Okay, so this is the important part here. This is the first part of the question, right? Two distinct real roots. Okay, so when you're looking at K questions, there's three important rules that you've got to remember. It's all looking at the b squared minus 4ac, the part of the formula under the square roots. Okay, now then, if the answer to this is greater than 0, so when you put numbers into this, then that tells us it has two distinct real roots. If the answer to this is equal to 0, then it has one repeated root. If the answer to that is less than 0, then it has no real roots. Now then, what is a root? A root is where the graph crosses the x-axis. So this one, it'll cross it twice. This one, it will just touch the x-axis. And this one, it will not cross the x-axis. So they're the key parts that you're going to need to know to answer these questions. So if we have a look at this one here, it has two distinct real roots. So that is two roots. Here's the first one, yeah. So it's going to be greater than 0. So you should be bearing that in mind when you are answering these types of questions. So we're trying to get down to this. Remember, this is our aim for this question. Okay. So the first thing I do is I write down that b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0 since it has two distinct roots. Then I put numbers into this. So looking at this equation here, work out what a is. So a is 2, b is 3k minus 1, and c is 3k squared minus 1 there. Okay, putting that into here then, so we've got b squared, so 3k minus 1 squared, minus 4 times a times c. And use brackets where you can. And that is greater than 0, using this. So, FOIL this out then. So we're going to end up with 9k squared minus 6k plus 1. This will become minus 8 times by the bracket 3k squared minus 1, and that's still greater than 0. Expanding this bracket then, so we'll keep this the same a minute. Minus 24k squared plus 8 is greater than 0. Now we can collect our terms up. So we get 9k squared, take away 24k squared is minus 15k squared. Minus 6k is all we've got of them. And then 1 plus 8 is plus 9, and that's greater than 0. Now we're almost there, we need to get down to this. Okay, now I also don't like having this negative here. So to move the get rid of the negative, you can either switch all the signs and switch this inequality, or move everything to the other side. So I'm going to switch the signs, so I end up with that becomes a positive, that becomes a positive, that becomes a negative. Because I switch the sign, switch the inequality to look like that. And to get it down to our final bit, you divide by 3. So it's 5k squared plus 2k, take away 3, is less than 0, the same as the answer up here. Now there is a second part on this question which asks you to find the range of values satisfying this inequality, which I've done in a separate video under inequalities.